This is our adventure van, and today I'm going to completely transform the way that it looks. Stay tuned for more. Hi, I'm Chris and welcome to Van Family Adventures on YouTube. We're a family of four and we like to go on adventures in our campervan, which is a self-built 2020 VW Crafter. It's fully off-grid, fully electric, and we like to explore all over Europe and the UK in this van. And just so I don't forget halfway through this video, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. So what exactly am I going to be doing today? Well, if you follow us on Instagram, you have probably seen our van used to have a few extra decals, stickers on the side of the van, down there. Basically at an angle going down the side of the van. That was on both sides, and there was a very good reason for that. I'll put a picture here. And to be completely honest, the reason is there's a couple of dents on the side of the van, a couple of little scratches that I wasn't too happy with, but it's going to cost an arm and a leg to actually resolve on the side of the van. And so I thought putting a big sticker down the side would basically hide it up. And it worked. Fundamentally, it worked. But I made a little bit of a mistake when I was installing the graphics, and that was I didn't fully prep the side of the van. I cleaned it, but what I didn't do is then use like isopropyl alcohol, however you pronounce it, so then properly clean down the side of the van. And I think the vinyl was quite cheap anyway, so it basically didn't really sit very well in the crease lines of the van, and air pockets started building with heat. It lasted 18 months, cost me 80 quid. I wasn't happy with the finished result after say 6 months or so being on the van, and I've decided to remove it, which was a fairly easy process. Didn't video it, but just rip the sticker off and give it a clean down. So what I'm going to be doing is changing the look of this van whilst hiding out just some of those slight imperfections in the bodywork. I mean, to be fair, to most people you can barely see them. It's just that I noticed them, and it's too much to kind of get a paintless dent removal or even just spray the side of the van. I have even considered changing the whole colour of the van. But so I did some research and I looked into lots of different ideas, vinyl wraps, different combinations. What I have landed on is possibly the cheapest and most effective way of changing the look of your van. And I'm going to do it all with this. Now this is a roll of 6mm pinstripe tape. You can get it off eBay. It's literally, I think it's like 6 quid for a roll. And I've got another roll, and this is I think 12mm. And I've got a few of these just in case. And we're going to be creating our own topographic decal. You can buy pre-made stickers on eBay, Amazon, any kind of vinyl wrap shop, and they'll probably set you back a good couple hundred quid. If you were to professionally get this done, you're probably looking at nearer 1,000. I don't know, I didn't get a quote. I just knew that for basically 20 quid, I'm gonna give this a go. So the only other tools you're gonna need is Stanley knife and little vinyl scraper. It's got a little foam bit on it so you can like smooth it into any creases. Actually, there is more. You're gonna need some alcohol, not whiskey, and a little rag just to wipe it down. So do a normal wash, wipe it down, get the panels nice and clean, and then go over with some isopropyl alcohol and just that, and just give it a good wipe. Get it really nice and clean and dry before you start applying vinyl, and then you know that you're putting it onto a solid base. You also don't want to do this in direct sunlight, but you will need a little bit of heat afterwards. I'm going to use a hair dryer or a heat gun and just go over the vinyl afterwards. What that will do is that will just help bond the adhesive to the paint once you've got it all in place. But the advantage of this stuff is that you can basically kind of create your own curves, your own lines in any kind of shape or formation that you like. So I figured for the money, let's give this a go. Right, I think probably just end up doing a little bit of time lapse, and then you can see what you think afterwards. So we're going to start off with the slightly thicker tape, which I'm calling accent markers, just to show a little bit of definition between kind of the start and the stop of the graphic. I don't want to cover the whole van in like topographic map contours, so these, the thicker line, kind of is like a section of a map. It will make more sense when it's on the van. So here goes. with that. Now the second line we're going to come across here and across the join in the door. So I'm going to have to cut it in there. But it's going to come across and then down here, which is where most of this little ripple in the bodywork is. Again, you can't even see that, but I know it's there. It's quite good how it's quite manipulative on the vinyl, like you can really get it into shape. Unlike a big sheet, which you just wouldn't be able to get these kind of curves with. So I'm probably going to have to put a bit of excess in there. I'll come back and trim that later. There's a helicopter going over above now. So there we go, there's basically our start and end points, and then we're going to fill out the map, all the contours in between those points. So we're going to flip over to the 6mm tape. I might use some of the thicker stuff in a bit, but for now, let's get going. I am going to use the thicker stuff. I'm going to put another section down there. There we go. What about that? Pretty happy with that. I think the key to this is to kind of have a continuous curve so it feels quite flowy and organic, a bit like hills and rivers and streams. Just going to I feel like this area here just needs a little extra something. Here you can see that you can get a pretty tight line, but it just broke, and there I do notice that the vinyl can be quite fragile, so I think I'm going to redo this section. To make a continuous loop, you just overlap like an inch or so along the line, and then it will blend in, But I think with this one, I'm just gonna redo it, make a neater job of it. And there we have it. Need to do the other side, but I'm very happy with that. I think it works well with the coordinates on the end, and then the topographic details. Makes the van look a bit more adventure van. Let me know what you think in the comments below. The only job I've got to do next is I'm going to go over it with a hairdryer and smooth it over with the squeegee, this little thing. Just make sure that the glue really sets into the bodywork. Vinyl's really nice and tight, and then it's a bit like memory, so it will then kind of set in that position. Another handy tip is don't try and do too many curves when you're on a curved kind of body panel. So where like there's some sort of contours in the natural bodywork of the van, just try and maybe just do a straight line until you get onto a flat panel, then you can kind of do your curves. Otherwise you're kind of going inverted with the vinyl, and it can sometimes break or pull or just not look as even. For less than 20 quid, just change the look of my van, and I am happy with that. And look, at the end of the day, if it comes off, I'll just do it again. I can just change the design. So if you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. More videos are on the way. Catch you later. Boom.